I feel like Americans sometimes have this idea that European transit is nothing but robust legacy metros, exemplary regional rail, and sleek surface tramways, standing in contrast to some of the less impressive, more oddball stuff we build here in the States. But if you have that impression, you definitely haven't been to Europe, or at least not to the Spanish city of Malaga. Because in 2014, this Mediterranean port opened a very odd metro, if you can even call it that. It's a tram system, with a large portion of its right-of-way in a tunnel, an odd combination of massive underground stations and tiny trains. So on my way across Spain a couple years ago, I knew I had to check it out. Let's take a look at the map. Malaga is located in the province of Andalusia, on the southern coast of Spain, just northeast from the Strait of Gibraltar. It has a municipal population of 571,000, similar to Baltimore, Maryland, and its main industries are tourism, construction, and technology services. The city's historic center, founded by the Phoenicians around 800 BC and later colonized by Rome, is located on the east bank of the Guadalmedina River, and it's home to such sites as the Alcazaba Fortress, the Cathedral de la Encarnación de Malaga, and the birthplace of Pablo Picasso. On the opposite bank lies the Malaga Maria Zambrano railway station, which serves regional, intercity, and high-speed trains. And it's here where we find the Malaga Metro's beginning at the adjacent El Perchel station. The system's Line 1 extends 4.7 miles west from here to Andalusia Tech, serving 13 stations, 8 of which are underground. Line 2, meanwhile, extends 3.5 miles to Palacio de Deportes, home of the city's sports stadiums, and it's entirely underground due to requests from the surrounding neighborhoods. There's also one other component to Malaga's transit, but we'll come back to that. My bus from Algeciras arrived at a station just opposite El Perchel, putting me in striking distance of the metro.
So the train station here is kind of an afterthought in what is otherwise a massive, kind of upscale shopping plaza. What do you guys think of that design choice? Let me know in the comments. One thing I've noticed about Spanish escalators is that they're usually super slow until you get on them, and then they speed up. I wonder if that's like a cost-saving measure of some sort, or if there's some other practical purpose for it.
The ticket machine gave me the option to buy a billete ocasional, what we would call a one-way ticket. But instead, I opted for a Monedero Metro Malaga card, a reloadable card which, while flexible like a paper ticket, could be tapped on card readers and recharged as needed. As you probably already noticed, the branding on this thing absolutely slaps. Besides the Metro Malaga logo, featuring two M's of different sizes, tickets feature a unique logo shaped like an eye. This is inspired by the eyes traditionally painted on wooden fishing boats in the region, a design that dates back to the city's original Phoenician settlers. Eyes were believed to look out for danger and bring luck to those on board, and some were deliberately painted to look sort of like fish. Tapping into the fare gates, I found myself in an absolutely massive and shockingly empty concourse.
I wonder how crowded the train is going to be. Also, where are we going? I don't even know. I guess I'll just get on whichever train comes first.
An escalator took me down to the platforms for Line 1, with another escalator ready to take me down to Line 2. I had no idea which line was coming first because I'd lost my phone in a previous adventure, so I decided to keep an eye on both platforms and see which one would have a train first. Also because I lost my phone, I hadn't done my research, so I was surprised to find...
Here we are. Guess we're getting on Line 2. That is a tram. I was not expecting that. We have a tram at the end of the huge concourse. This is shaping up to be a very unique transit system. Like, it's not even multiple tram cars linked together, like the Seattle Light Rail. It's literally a single tram in a massive metro-style tunnel.
Malaga's trams are CAF Urbus 3 vehicles, which are also used in Belgrade, Serbia, among other places. They're divided into 5 sections and can hold 56 seated passengers and another 170 standing. I jumped off the tram a few stops down the line and boarded another vehicle heading in the opposite direction. Malaga's metro was first considered in the 90s, with the lines finally opening in 2014, and as the map inside the tram seemed to indicate, there was more to come. After stopping in Princesa, we continued through the tunnel towards El Perchel. All of these tunnels run under streets, so as not to disturb buildings.
Next station, El Perchel. Change here for intercity buses. The AVE, local and long-distance trains.
So interestingly, as we pull back into El Perchel, this train is becoming a Line 1 train. I was hoping to ride a bit of Line 1, and now I don't need to change trains at all. I mean, how many multi-line metro systems are there out there where you could hypothetically speed run the entire system on a single train?
Indeed, after just a few minutes, we were pulling out of El Perchel and onto Line 1. Helpful information screens showed our progress as we continued towards Andalusia Tech.
I mean, look at this concourse. This was built for a tram. It is so quiet in this station. I don't think I've ever been in a metro system that's this quiet. You can hear the trams ringing their bells from like a station away. It's literally no people. Oh, there's the noise.
As you may have noticed, Malaga's trams feature the same Venetian eyes as the tickets. They also utilize colors used by Pablo Picasso and sport the outline of the Taurus constellation, which supposedly resembles the Malaga metro network. Truly an inspired livery. I boarded the last tram of the day, heading back to El Perchel once again. Here, I discovered the vehicles had extra spaces for bikes and wheelchairs.
They have these colorful pamphlets explaining everything you ever need to know about the metro, including the fact that they're building out lines 1 and 2 to further destinations, and they actually show where the above-ground sections are on the different lines. Line 2, a tramway, is entirely underground. What the heck, Malaga? Like, there's a guide for how to use the stations, how to use the fare cards. Everything is very, very carefully explained.
Now, remember earlier when I said there was another element to Malaga's rail transit? Well, in addition to rapid transit, many major Spanish cities have Renfe Cercanías trains, with Renfe being Spain's national rail operator. Cercanías literally translates to surroundings, but they're what we know today as commuter rail or regional rail. Malaga's 2 Cercanías lines stretch further west than the metro, serving the city's airport and other farther-flung destinations. But interestingly, they also continued further to the east after Maria Zambrano station, reaching Centro Alameda just before the river, meaning as of my visit, they actually got closer to the city's historic center than the metro.
And now, because I'm still trying to cram in as much transit as possible, I'm going to go for a ride on Malaga's commuter rail system. Just one stop to the central station and back. You can clearly tell which platform has people who actually want to go somewhere, and which platform has a single solitary rail fan who wants to ride from the one central station to the other central station and back.
Our train arrived after just a few minutes. Cercanías Malaga uses Sevilla multiple units, an equipment type devised by a consortium of companies for Spain's regional railways. Seats were arranged with 2 facing another 2, and display screens showed our next destination.
And here we are at Malaga Central. And I think since I got a round trip ticket, I can just stay on the train. And then we'll get on and we'll go back to where we came from.
Back at the original station, I noticed that even here in Malaga's main transit hub, there weren't any high-level platforms, and instead, mechanical steps folded into the train as it departed.
Now that is acceleration. Beat that, arrows.
And that was about it for my time in Malaga. Just a few minutes later, I was upstairs in the station concourse, ready to jump on my AVE train to Madrid. Several months later, in March 2023, the Malaga Metro was extended 2 stops east, with Line 2 now ending just shy of the Guadalmedina, and Line 1 finally crossing it into the city center. In the years to come, Line 2 will continue north to Hospital Civil, in an alignment that was originally planned to be on the surface, but has now been revised to be entirely underground. So what's the takeaway from Malaga's metro? For a long time after my visit, I figured making an overbuilt tram subway was a little weird. Why not just build a full-on metro with those tunnels, or else build more surface tramways like Barcelona and Casablanca? A full-sized metro would be useful for a city so crowded with tourists that locals have started displaying window signs reading, "Go home." And a surface tramway would probably be cheaper. Then when I wrote this, I thought, why didn't I feel as critical when I rode the Muni Metro in San Francisco, or the Metrolink in St. Louis, or even the Pittsburgh Light Rail? Those are also tramways and tunnels after all, and they felt pretty justified in their use of subways. But what makes Malaga different is that their tunnels aren't just for a downtown core. They're the bulk of the system. They aren't meant to be a gathering place for a widely dispersed network of surface light rail lines, the way Boston's Green Line subway absorbs trams from all around the city. This is just intended to be a metro, with trams. 28,000 people rode the Malaga Metro daily prior to the expansion, over twice the ridership of the Pittsburgh Light Rail, which has over twice the length of track. Malaga's ridership then went up to 37,000 average daily riders in 2023, after trains started serving the historic East Bank. While the system felt empty when I rode it, that was on a Sunday pre-expansion. Many days, a lot more people are on it. But when you have small trains, there's a limit to how much a system like this can grow. There's talk of bringing Line 2 out to the airport, but this would place a lot more pressure on the system. In the end, Malaga might end up learning the same lesson as many American cities. Sometimes light rail is cheaper, but it's not the most future-proof mode of transit. Muchas gracias a todo por ver mi video y especialmente a todos mis partidarios de Patreon. Take care until the next one.